thank you again for having me here. And please, 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 Mayor's Ball, well, Mayor's Dream Ball. Mayor is not going to be there, he's out of town. So, we are going to have a real Dream Voice send-off for him after Dream Week when he returns. Please stay tuned, because the mayor has been extraordinary. He's been a major supporter of Dream Week, but he's also been a really, really dear friend, and I think his heart is in the right place. And I have no doubt that there will be Dream Week in your future wherever you end up, but you'll always be welcome here, and you'll always be part of our family. So, round of applause for our mayor.
Thanks for the introduction, show. Well, good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. It is a great honor to be with you as we launch now our 12th, is this the 12th? Dream Week. First of all, just let me say thank you to my friend Show, our friend Show, for his persistence and his original vision for this. I dare say that every city in the country would like to have the kind of reputation that San Antonio has of being a compassionate and inclusive place, and at the top of that description are the images that we generate from the march that's going to happen on January 20th. This is the largest Martin Luther King Jr. march in the country, and it's happening in a place that has a history of being very active in the fight for justice and equality and human rights. And so Show's original vision to wrap an entire series of events around this dream and this vision for Martin Luther King Jr. is notable, but it's also something that I think San Antonio deeply embraces to its core. So let me just acknowledge the obvious. This year, the march, which is in the heart of the Dream Week calendar, is happening on a very heavy day. It's happening on Inauguration Day. It highlights the fact that we live in a time of division and turmoil and turbulence that we have to acknowledge. There is a weight on the shoulders of nearly everyone in this country and probably across the globe because of the conflict and the ugliness that's been out there. And I dare say that that ugliness has been building for the entire nation, and our communities couldn't be higher. So we all have to ask ourselves, what's the antidote to that? How do we live into our dreams of being an inclusive, compassionate place where we can get along and we can learn how to resolve conflict together? That, to me, is the gift of Dream Week. Better theme to have as my last Dream Week as mayor, because at its essence, and I think Trish and others said it very well, what is neighbor? What does that mean? To be a neighbor, you have to understand other people. You know, it used to be that you could walk across the street or across the block and you'd ask for, salt if you didn't have any, or, some whatever it is you needed. Rarely does that happen anymore. I mean, being able to walk across the street and know your neighbor, to be able to count on someone, to know the people who are living around you is the first step to being part of a community, and just something as small as a neighborhood. So think about the power of that if we were to extend that to the other side of the city. The different challenges and experiences that people have. The fact that we talk here in this city of the fact that there's nearly a 10 to 15 year lifespan, life expectancy difference at the meridian that you draw roughly at Hildebrand because of the different experiences of poverty in the city. And if we could get people on one side of the city to understand the challenges that communities in the west side have been dealing with for generations, if we can understand that and we can work together as a community and make the investments so we can move that in a different direction, so we can all grow up in a place where every child, no matter whether they live on the east side, the west side, south side, or the north side, would have the same opportunities and the same expectancy to be able to thrive in this community. If we can make those kinds of changes in our community, that's a powerful thing. Just by knowing, by helping us to understand what's on the other side of the street, what's on the other side of the block. So this concept of being a neighbor, understanding of other people, being able to have difficult dialogue is the first step to resolving conflict. It's also the best antidote to what we're experiencing in our globe today. So I do believe that this idea of being a neighbor, being a better neighbor, can improve our district, it can improve our city, it can improve our country, and it certainly can improve our world. And so that is the gift of DreamWeek, is that we're able to highlight this for the rest of the world. There are over 40 countries that in some way, shape, or form connect with DreamWeek San Antonio and our 250 plus events that are going to be happening during that 17-day period. And so thank you to all of the organizations that take part in DreamWeek every year. There's new ones that sign on every single year. Your persistence and I'll use it again, if you were at the MLK Commission meeting yesterday, I heard a phrase on the Golden Globes that I was overhearing my wife watch the other day. In one of the acceptance speeches, they said, in a time of such darkness, we all have to have radical acts of optimism to be able to dare to hope that there can be something better. And we can do that by getting to know each other, by engaging in those difficult conversations, and by believing that there is a better future, a better way forward. And I certainly believe if there is any example of that in a city in America, DreamWeek is the blueprint. So thank you, Show, for this vision. Thank you to our community for keeping it going for 12 years. And I hope everyone in our community takes one event if you can. My favorite event that's ever taken place at DreamWeek, just in full disclosure, has been the naturalization ceremonies, where you can see people from all across the world who have done everything they could to get here for an opportunity, have learned about our city, have learned about our country, have invested themselves, their time and their energy, and they raise their right hand to say that they will pledge their allegiance and fealty to being a neighbor of this country by being a resident and a citizen. It's a powerful thing. So God bless you all, God bless DreamWeek, and enjoy those 17 days of great experiences.
And as a community, we thank you, Mayor, for your years of dedication and servant leadership. Thank you. Our next guest is Robert Trevino. He is a multifaceted professional and always, always on time. He told me earlier, he said he learned early in life that the best way to never be late is to always be early. Very impressive. He has a rich background in public service, architecture, and arts. Currently, Trevino serves as the executive director of the San Antonio Philharmonic, where he is dedicated to enhancing the cultural vibrancy of the city through music and the arts. Robert?
Thank you for that introduction, and I want to thank Show for being a board member of the San Antonio Philharmonic. We've really enjoyed his support and his incredible talents to help move us forward. I'm Roberto Trevino with the San Antonio Philharmonic, also formerly known as the San Antonio Symphony. Many don't know that the Philharmonic voluntarily recognizes the labor union, the American Federation of Musicians. Why is this important? Unions have had incredible history related to civil rights. But up until 1965, unions here in San Antonio were, of course, we're next door to the Alameda Theater, and we know that that theater itself was built in response to much of the segregation in this city. The canon of classical music has long been about old, dead white guys. Today, it's about diversity. It is with great pride that I was invited on behalf of the San Antonio Philharmonic and one of the very few orchestras to visit the Equal Justice Initiative in Montgomery, Alabama. This is where I learned an important phrase from one of our newest supporters, Brian Stevenson. Quote, "You have to get proximate with people." Today, the Philharmonic, and I think it goes along with the theme of We Are Neighbor. I'm gonna tell you a little bit about our concert, January 17th and 18th. Hope you can make it. We have 5 extraordinary pieces, 3 of which are by African-American composers. Pulse, speaking of neighbors, is by Brian Raphael Neighbors. 33-year-old African-American from Birmingham, Alabama. Pulse is an episodic exploration of life's rhythm, drawing inspiration from both daily human existence and the natural world, unified by an unwavering pulse. Second piece is by Umoja, is the Anthem of Unity by Valerie Coleman, African-American flutist and composer. Umoja is the Swahili word for unity, complex interplay of dissonance and tension symbolizing the clash of injustice, racism, and hate. Ultimately returns to a gentle reminder of kindness and humanity, offering a hopeful resolution. Third piece is a piano concerto in one movement by Florence Price. Price is noted as the first African-American woman to be recognized as a symphonic composer. Price is first to have a composition played by a major orchestra. She composed over 300 works, 4 symphonies, 4 concertos, as well as choral works, art songs, chamber music, and music for solo instruments. Fourth piece is Adoration, again also by Florence Price, a piece composed during her time in Chicago, and is one of several works that showcase her skill in blending Western classical traditions with African-American musical idioms. The fifth and final piece is a piano concerto in F major by George Gershwin. Of course, we know he blends classical form with the vibrant rhythms of melodies of jazz, capturing the energy and spirit of 1920s America. This is January 17th and 18th, and we hope that you can make it. Sonic is really, truly affecting so many lives, and we hope that you can come out and support and see what your artists, your local musicians are doing here today. Thank you.
Well, you've already seen her in her glittery glory, and now we're actually going to hear from Francie Milan. She is the reigning Miss San Antonio USA 2024. She shared San Antonio's neighborly style by placing first runner-up at the 2024 Miss Texas USA pageant, where she was the only Latina in the top 5.